Okay, so in this section, we're going to take a look at uploading, updating course completion status. Now, the first thing I always want to warn individuals is that when you update and add content to a course, you're potentially going to skew existing course completion data. So there needs to be a process in order to stage these kind of updates. And I think you'll see as we work our way through this. So we're in the Money Basics course. The first thing I need to do is, first I can see that I've already attempted this course in the past. So as you can see that there's 0 of 19 completed and you need an 80% to pass. I can scroll through, see how some things are restricted, some are not. And that's because of a lot of these, a lot of the logic was not completed in this particular course, which is okay. But always remember, we need to first begin by turn editing on. That will always display additional activities as well as give us some additional help with any particular resources anywhere you see that question mark. Now the next thing we need to do is go down to settings. Within settings, there's something called completion tracking. So see the little gear? Completion tracking under settings. Now when I select this particular option, you can now see that I can edit course completion settings. Now here's one of the first things we're going to do is just take a look through here to see what's been checked and what hasn't. Now we can see that manual self-completion has not been enabled. Same thing with manual completion by manager, course, career teacher are not checked. Now here's where things get really interesting. We can see that feedback on the intake questionnaire is checked, quiz is checked, SCORM, where do I want to be in 5 years, is not. However, I can't check any of these, and you're asking yourself, what am I not doing? Well, let's start up at the top. So let's read this statement. One or more students have already completed a criteria, so the settings have been locked, hence the reason why we cannot change this. So unlocking the completion criteria settings will delete any existing user data and may cause confusion. So there are a couple of ways of dealing with this, but the first thing we know that we need to do is unlock completion options and delete user completion data. That is the reason why I put such emphasis on that original statement. So now when I select this, I never want to select manual self-completion, but what I do want to select is I want to allow a teacher to go through and manually update any of these courses for a user. So if a user has completed specific activities, they first need to run a report, and then they'll have to go back and manually update the content for the users. So as you can see, now I can go through and I can start selecting all of the objects, because if you recall, we originally had 18 activities to complete. And as we go down, there's the feedback, the post-test. The passing grade is 80%. That's perfect. And then I just need to save my changes. So give it a minute, it's updating the system. So you can now see that I have 0 of 30 activities. So if I turn editing off, I can now see that I have checks next to all of these. In addition, I can also look at more details and look at a report. There are all my statuses. So see how all my statuses say no, even though that I have gone through and tested some of these. So that's how you add something to the course completion status.